What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you guys for being here. If you were a first timer to this channel, brand new, then welcome to you guys. Thank you for being here as well. This is our watch list for Thursday, November 17th, and I put these videos out to you guys for free every single day for your guys' learning, okay? I have 300 plus videos on this channel to help you guys learn. I want to jump right into this stuff. At the end of this video, I will do a review of the top 5 plays from November 16th on Wednesday. So I give out top 5 plays to the Griswold Gold members, the paid members in the Discord. I give those guys top 5s out of the playlist. This top 5 that I'm going through was from Wednesday, November 16th. But let's get started on today's watch list for Thursday, November 17th. And then at the end of the video, like I said, the top 5 will be there for you guys to review from earlier today. So the first one we've got on the list, and anytime there's a setup on SPY, it'll always be on my list. There's a 3-1 setup, outside bar, inside bar. Now, realistically, this is just an inside bar setup, but we do have this gold bar. That's part of my Griswold Strat indicator that I've created for you guys, part of the Griswold Gold membership, or to be able to be purchased separately. Now, if we go back in time and look at the last time there was a 3-1 setup, they're very rare. They don't happen very often, but they tend to have really good results and profitable trades. Now, this one ended up in an outside bar, so that one didn't work. And that's why I like to show you guys this stuff, because they don't always work. Here's another one that ended up in an outside bar. Okay, let's try and find one more here. Hopefully we don't have an outside bar. There we go. So probability-wise, if you guys go back and look off of the 3-1 setups, they tend to do really well. There's another one that ran really nicely. But if we look at this one here, we had this 3-1 setup. We triggered and we hit targets. Okay, it did exactly what it said it was going to do. It actually hit 2 targets on the way up. So they don't happen very often. They're a super rare pattern. This one is from August of 21. But if we go back to the original one here that we have on the setup for Thursday, outside bar, inside bar, and realistically an inside bar, guys, an outside bar breaks the high and the low of the previous candle. An inside bar stays within the range of the previous candle. It doesn't break the high and it doesn't break the low. So it stays within that range. It's a tightening range. It's consolidating. And when we have a consolidating candle, the yellow candle, that's part of the Strat indicator. When you see that, I want you guys to think of a spring being compacted or loaded like a jack-in-the-box. And when you let go of that spring, it explodes to one direction or the other, to the high or to the low side. So that's what we're looking for here. And we're looking for calls at 397.78 or puts at 394.79. That's these yellow markers here. That's what we're looking for. And then we look for it to hit the targets, okay? And we can put a second target here on SPY. We'll mark it out as green. Now, this is a day trade video list. Now, I have a hard time swinging. I thought I'm going to buy SPY puts today, and I feel like this is going to trend down tomorrow. So I didn't spend a lot of money on it. Not for me anyways, and I wanted to hold it into tomorrow. Not really, it's not Strat based, but it ended up getting me 40% and I sold because I don't really like holding overnight. And if I can get 40% on a trade, I'm taking that trade. So I didn't hold overnight. When this opens in the morning, if this opens within this range, within this inside bar, then we look for the break to the downside for puts or break to the high side for calls. Okay, we don't do it until it triggers. And that's what we're looking for on SPY. Okay, if you have questions about it, leave it down below. Make sure you're giving me a thumbs up if you like the video. We'll move on to Starbucks. Starbucks has a 2 down that finished green. So we're going to look for calls on Starbucks at 97.96. Normally, the 2 down would be red, but it finished green. And when it finishes green, I like to look for reversals back to the upside. It gives me a higher probability that this is going to reverse back to the upside. That's why I have it there. We'll look for calls at 97.96. First target's marked out at 99.53. That's on Starbucks. We move on to AMC. AMC. So this is a 2 down that finished red. The thing I want to point out, guys, is we have a hammer candle here, okay? So this hammer candle is a bullish pattern. And so we're going to look for calls on this at 780 and look for it to hit targets at $8.19 on Amazon. I want to say one thing or a few things. The ads that you guys see popping up, I would appreciate it, and I'm going to thank you in advance for letting those things roll through. Those pay to keep this stuff free, pays for your guys' learning on these videos. So I thank you, and I appreciate you in advance for letting those things roll through. So thank you very much. Amazon, 2 down green. We're going to look for calls here at 98.49 and first targets at 103.79. This pink line was our trigger for the weekly. We've already gone 2 up on the week, so we'll see if we break that again and continue to go up. Chewy, 2 down, finished green with a hammer candle. Full time frame continuity to the downside, or to the upside, sorry, right across the board outside of the year. So a couple of things that give me confluence or give me confidence that this is going to trigger back to the upside. So we can look for calls at 42.24. Now, normally, we would have the targets to the top of the wicks when we're looking at calls, unless we have this gap. There's no candle in between here. So when there's a gap, your first target becomes that gap fill. Okay? And I want to caution you guys here. And I go through this at the end of this video. We're going to go through it on one of the setups from the top 5 where I talked about not having a lot of meat on the bones here. Like 42.24 to 42.42. That's less than 20 cents. It's 18 cents, I think, to go from the trigger to the target. And a lot of times what happens is, and I will talk about this at the end of the video, like I said, on one of the plays, and it happened exactly that way. And I talked to one of the Griswold Gold members about this earlier today. A lot of times what will happen, it'll open up, we will trigger, we'll hit that target, and then it'll reverse back down through, and we will never see that target again. And on the play I'm talking about, it hit the target twice in 10 minutes, and it reversed, and it went outside bar. We never saw it again. So in an instance like this, make sure you are prepared to take your profits at those targets if it's something that you're going to play. Okay? We'll move on to DIA. That's the diamond. So another 3-1 setup, just like SPY. Outside bar, inside bar. Okay, so we play this the same way. We look for calls. We're looking for a break to the high side at 337.25 or to the downside at 335.55, and the target's marked out. The last time we had a 3-1 setup on the diamonds was back in June. So again, they don't happen very often, guys. It's rare. And if we look at this, what do we have? 3-1, and we gapped up and we ran. So you probably could have played this one, if you can see it there, off of the 15-minute, right here, off of the 15-minute gap setups that we talk about. And I love looking at this stuff. Look at the way this price aggregates up and down and up and down. And you can draw a broadening formation anywhere here, guys. Here's a higher high to a higher high. We're done. Okay, just like that. You can draw another one here. You can say lower lows to lower lows. And you can see how that just runs through it. Lows to highs, and it runs off of this one from lows to highs. We break through to the highs, come back to the lows. We come up a bit, come back to the lows, showing resistance. Now we're back up to the high of this one. So what happens now that we've gone through that? What happens? Is this our reversal back to the downside on the diamonds, on the Dow Jones Industrial? Is this our reversal back to the downside, or are we going to trend up and tag the top of this larger broadening formation? Be interesting to see how that plays out. We'll see. You guys know how to play inside bars though now. If you like this stuff, guys, remember, go down below, subscribe, hit the bell. The bell sends out the notifications for when these videos come out every single day. Okay? 3-1 setup on Disney again. I'm not going to make you guys go through the history of the 3-1s on Disney, but we can look for calls at 95.22. We've got full time frame continuity to the downside, so be cognizant of that. Puts at 93.72, and again, this first target at 93.70. So just be very cautious of that. I mean, it's only 2 cents, so if it runs through, it's likely going to continue to run through, but just be aware of what we're looking at here. And again, watch at the end of the video where I go through the review of the one play where it hits targets and then it reverses right away. So Cisco is finished with the 2 down red. So there's no reversal play setup that I've got on here. What we're looking for on this one, guys, is basically a continuation. These 2 pink lines are showing me that we are inside weak. So is this yellow circle. This is part of the Griswold Strat indicator. Okay. What this is showing me is a 2 down red. We're looking for a continuation. So we're going to look for puts at 44.30, and we're going to look for it to hit targets down here, and that will also be our trigger to go 2 down on the week on Cisco to break out of that inside bar. So not something you have to play, but it's something to watch for as we look to trigger on the weekly on Cisco. GME has an inside bar as well. So GME, we can look for calls at 27.35, puts at 26.37 on GameStop. Google, the Google machine, has an inside bar as well. So we look for calls at 99.85, puts at 97.90. Guys, I also have a Discord if you're interested. That link is in the description below, so make sure you're checking that out as well. And everything that I offer to you guys, free or fee-based, can be found in that Discord. Home Depot, again, not something I normally put on here because the premiums are high. The spreads between the bid and the ask aren't great, but we've got time frame continuity to the upside, and we've got an inside bar. So calls at 316.41, puts at 304.51. IBM has a 3-1 setup as well, so calls at 144.95, puts at 144.01. If we trend back up on this thing, guys, we've got full time frame continuity to the upside on IBM. And I wonder, there's the highs back there. Okay. So again, full time frame continuity to the upside if we trend that way, okay? So pay attention to IBM tomorrow. JP Morgan has an inside bar, so calls on JPM at 133.56, puts at 132.03. Keurig Dr. Pepper, so we come into the pop now. The soda pop has an inside bar. We can look for calls at 37.03, puts at 36.55 on this inside bar for KDP. Now we go to Coke, same thing. Inside bar on the soda pops. Calls at 61.03, puts at 60.29. And again, Data Droid was asking me about how things move. So he said he noticed that AMD looks like it kind of moves with SPY. And yes, if things are in SPY and it's a big holding in SPY, you will notice the same thing happening or close to. And I used an example in the room today in the Discord that if you looked at Tesla, if you looked at NEO, if you looked at Lucid, go on the 15-minute chart, they all moved in the same pattern. And that's sectors moving together. And a lot of times people will call them sympathy plays. So when Tesla moves, they'll go play a NEO or they'll go play a Lucid because they move in a similar pattern, okay? So that's KO inside bar, calls 61.03, puts 60.29. Microsoft inside bar. So Microsoft, we can look for calls at 243.80 or puts at 240.42 on Microsoft. Netflix, man, this thing like 3 weeks ago was, what were we at? Down here. 214, 213, and we've ran all the way back up now from about 210 all the way up to 306. So if you were holding Netflix, congratulations. Inside bar on the day on Netflix. So calls 310.49, puts at 303.61 on Netflix. Oracle, ORCL, has an inside bar, so we're going to look for calls on Oracle at $80.23, puts at 78.86. Full time frame to the upside outside of the year, and we are 2 up on the week. We've broken out of this inside bar, those 2 pink lines, and I believe we're also 2 up on the month now. If we go to the month, there we are. 2 up on the month as well on Oracle. Procter & Gamble, inside bar, We can look for calls at 142.91, puts at 140.98. C limited inside bar, and that's a tight little inside bar. So we can look for a nice break off of there, hopefully on Thursday. Calls 61.16, puts 57.66. We head into Walmart. Walmart also an inside bar. We can look for calls at 150.20, puts at 147.12. Let's mark out those bottom targets and the top targets together. You notice that small little space between the trigger and the targets. We're going to go look at those right away here. So that's the play on Walmart. So right now, guys, we're going to look at the top 5 from Wednesday that I gave out to the Griswold Gold members. We're going to review them and talk about that small little space between the trigger and the target and why you guys need to be careful. Okay, so let's go take a look at the review of the top 5 plays out that I give in the Gold membership room every day. So I do the watch list that we just did, and then I will send out a top 5 to the Griswold Gold members. And of course, you can find out all the information about that membership in the Discord with, again, the link in the description below. So this was our yellow trigger line. So if we go to the day on Neo, so Neo was one of the plays on the top 5. Okay, so if we go to the daily chart on Neo, and you can see we had that inside bar, but we gapped below. So we opened right here, right where this top of the body is. That's where we opened. So when I always tell you guys at the end of my videos in the top right hand corner, there's always that playlist on how to play the ticker if we gap up or down in the morning, meaning we opened below the trigger or above the trigger. So in this case, we opened below the trigger. Now, how do you play that? Do you jump right in? Well, no, you don't. Okay, so we'll go back to the 15-minute chart, and that's how we play these guys. So we look for the setups on the 15 now. So what happens is, this is the first 15-minute bar of the day on Neo. So now what we do is we take the break of the high or the low of that first 15-minute candle. Okay, so it broke to the downside. So this is the play we get into now. And you can see if you would have played Neo using the gap plays that I show you guys in the videos, you would have made extensive gains. Like, you would have had a really good day here off of Neo. We had a big trend down, and then realistically, you would have got out off of the break of this inside bar. Okay, so we went down. We had no reversal. There was no reversal. Even here, we were 2 down green, but there was no reversal. Your first opportunity at a reversal, or the first spot where there was a reversal, was off of this inside bar, and we went back 2 up in that direction. So that's where your stop loss would have been. Okay, and I can mark that just out in red for you guys. That's where you would have got out of the trade. So Neo was a really good trade for us today. Now, if we go to Lucid, we can look at the same thing. We opened right at our trigger. So again, even going off of the 15, you can look at this off of the 15, but again, we had a really, really excellent trade. We shot down when we went through that target. So again, if we go back to the daily and find the targets, there's a target. I'll change that to green. Okay, and we'll mark out one more target because we went down that far. So those are the 3 targets, and we went through all of them. So if you want to manage it on a smaller time frame, the 15-minute, we hit target, and then we hit this target again, just tagged it, and then we reversed back up. So again, right there, we had the reversal to the upside. That would have been your spot to get out of Lucid. Now, that's doing it off of the 15. You could have done it off of the 5. So if we go down to the 5-minute chart to see how this played out, even off of the 5, which is where I normally like to have this, that would have been your reversal spot right there. So if I zoom in, this was our opening candle. Boom, inside bar. There was no reversal until we hit right here. Okay, there was your first reversal on the 5. Right there. So at 11:55 instead of 11:43. So the 15 allowed you to stay in that trade a little longer, but again, another winning trade on Lucid. Now, we go to AMC. And on AMC, that was our trigger there. And I just got to make sure of something here, guys. Give me a second. We go to the day. There it is. So we had an inside bar on the daily. So again, if we hop back to the 5 and see how this played out. Let me zoom in. And again, this was another great trade. You would have won on AMC, another top 5 play. Here we go. We triggered right here. And we never looked back until after we hit targets, okay? So there was no reversal. We broke through the trigger, and we had a continuation. 2 down, 2 down, 2 down, 2 down. And then this was our first spot. Our first 2 up to get out of that trade was after that target. So you could have held a little longer till we went through that target and taken profits there, or you could have taken it at the reversal with another win on AMC. So we're 3 for 3 on the top 5 plays. We go to GM. If we go to the daily on GM. So GM, again, gapped. We broke down below. If I zoom out here so you guys can see it, I was looking for a 2 down. Well, we got it, but it gapped down. So we opened right here. So now what do we do on the gap plays? We go to the 15 minute. And look what happened. What do we do? When we gap, we take the break to the high or low side of that first 15-minute bar. And that's exactly what happened. We had the break to the downside. So we get in at 39.47. And we ride this all the way down till we get a reversal right here at 38.73. And you can go back and look to see where targets were off of this. We hit targets here and here. Okay, and then a little bit more. So I guess even here was a target that we hit. But that's exactly how you would have played that gap play on GM. So we had another win. And then the last one, and I was in the live trading room with Data Droid today. He's one of the guys that joined me in there today, and this is one of the plays that we talked about. And this is one of the things that I always talk about with you guys in these rooms. So look what happens, or in the rooms or in the videos. I always tell you guys I want to see a big space between the trigger and the target. I call it meat on the bone. I like to see meat on the bone. I like to see the difference between the trigger and the target. I like to see some room there. And the reason is exactly what happened on CVS today. Yes, it was a double inside bar. No, we did not have a big explosion, but the candlestick did exactly what it said it was going to do. It triggered and it hit the target. And again, this is what I always tell you guys. When the target is only, when there isn't a lot of room between the trigger and the target, a lot of times we hit that target and we reverse and we'll never see that first target again that day. And that's exactly what happened here. We triggered and we hit targets and we never saw it again. So if we go back to the 5 minute to see how this thing played out, and that's exactly what happened. In the first 5 minute bar, the very first 5 minute bar, we triggered, we hit targets, and it came back through, and that was it. It came back through one more time, and we never saw it again. So in the first 10 minutes, it hit the target twice. You had 2 opportunities to take profit at that target before it reversed. And that was it. And so that's a lot of what we talked about in that room was when we hit those targets and we reverse back through that target like you see here, you have to be prepared to take profits. Because if you didn't, you never saw that target again and we ended up going outside bar. Okay, so that's a review on the video, guys. We went 5 for 5 on the top 5 plays. Whether we played it with the trigger or the gap, it was a 5 for 5 day on those 5 plays for you guys. or for the gold members. So if you were in the gold member, if you're part of the membership group, then you would have gone 5 for 5 today on these plays. So thank you guys for watching. Good luck trading on Thursday. I wish you guys nothing but the best. Make sure you're getting in on that Discord. Join the membership, guys. It's $50 a month. One of these trades would have paid for your membership for the month. So go check that out. There's a 1-hour strat course. You get one-on-ones with me. You get access to me throughout the day if I'm in those live trading rooms. You get the top 5s every day. You get the trading bots. You get the strat indicator. So there's a lot of stuff for you guys there. And at the end of this video, like I said, the top right-hand corner, there's going to be a playlist for the gap plays. In the bottom right, you're going to see a video playlist. Just more videos on the strat to help you guys learn this stuff. I've got over 300 videos to help you guys learn. So make sure you're subscribed. Give me a thumbs up. Follow me on Twitter. And we will see you guys all on the next one. Bye-bye.